Hey everybody, now that you have your yarn cut and ready to go, there's a couple things you need to do before you're ready to start stitching. So, first thing we need to do is one side of our yarn needs a double knot and the other side of our yarn needs our stitching needle. So let's start with that knot first. So just a reminder about how to make that knot. I loop the yarn around my finger and I make sure that I can see that whole entire loop nice and neat. I have my tail right here and I'm going to take that tail of my yarn, crossing it over and pulling it through until I have my knot. You want your knot kind of close to the edge. You don't want it in the middle, otherwise you're wasting some of your yarn. So to make a double knot, all I need to do to make that knot in the same spot is when I make the loop, I need to make sure that my knot is on the loop. Then one more time, I'm going to put my tail through, pulling on both ends of the yarn, and I'm going nice and slow to try to get that knot going right on top. Now, if your knot doesn't go right on top and it ends up right next to it, just give it one more try, making that loop, making sure the knot is on the loop, and pulling those tails nice and slow to get those knots to come together. So now we have a knot on one end of our yarn. We need to put our stitching needle on the other end. So finding that opposite end, my knot is over here, my stitching needle is gonna go over here. So there's two ways that we can put our stitching needle on our yarn. One way is I hold that tail short and I take my hand and I twist it so my yarn gets a little bit tighter. Once it's nice and tight, I'm going to scoop my hand up as close to the edge as I can. I'm going to take my stitching needle and I'm going to slide that whole entire piece of yarn through the eye of the needle. Then I just pull that down a little bit and I have it ready to go. Another way, if you're having a hard time putting that yarn onto your needle, is you can try the folding method. So you can fold that yarn over to make a little loop, pinch that loop really, really close and tight, and then you can wiggle that tiny loop through the eye of your needle as well.